Get to my right spot here. All right, so the first question is just that one. Y'all didn't have any issues with that, but that's why I get off on my numbering on the test work page. It's fixed now, though. So just put something there to get past that question. That's fine. So the first one is descriptive and roster form. The descriptive and roster form. The roster is where you list it all out, and the descriptive is where you just describe what's happening there, right? You just give informational text. So we got a college offers free tutoring on these 9 subjects and what days they are. So our first one in A is math, German, art, bio, econ, and psych. So that is the first 3 lines. So let's read those. Math is offered on, you got to figure out what's common in those. Math is offered on both Thursday and Friday. German is offered on Thursday but not Friday. And art, econ, bio, and psych are offered on Friday but not Thursday. So like the third line is Friday, the second line is Thursday, the first line is both. So our descriptive should have something like we got our choice here. How about that? The set of subjects offered for tutoring on Thursday or Friday or both, right? Because art, bio, econ, and psych are on Friday. German's on Thursday. Math's on both. So that fits that, okay? So you just got to figure out which one fits that the best. The next one, you are going to roster form. So it says the set of subjects not offered for tutoring on Thursday. So for a roster form, we do use the brackets because we are making a set. The set of subjects not offered for tutoring on Thursday. So what did we just say? We just said art, bio, econ, and psych aren't Thursday, right? Art. When I zoom way in, it makes it harder, so I'm going to zoom out for just a second. Art, bio, econ, and psych are not Thursday. What about Chem, English, and stats are offered on neither Thursday. So that would also fit under this. Chem, English, stats. So on roster form, you just list them all out, okay? And then the last one, what do math, art, bio, econ, and psych have in common? Math, art, bio, econ, and psych. Math is both Thursday and Friday. Those other 4 are just Friday. So they're all offered on Friday. That one would work, right? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
For B, you put in bio. On the top it says art, bio, econ are offered on Friday, but on Thursday.
Did I do that backwards? It says, on B, it says the subject's not offered for tutoring on Thursday. So art, bio, econ, and psych are offered on Friday, but not Thursday.
My bad.
No, you're good. That's good. That's what's hard about this is those little words. You got to pay attention to when it says not, and then, picking this thing for trying to figure out the neither or either or different things like that. So just pay attention to those words there and write those out. You can always make a little chart. Won't spend too much time making a little chart, but sometimes it does help, whatever, visual way of seeing this. So you got Thursday, Friday. So math is both. German is Thursday but not Friday. Art, bio, econ, and psych are Friday but not Thursday. And then Chem, English, and stats are neither. Okay, so maybe that helps you do it because now it's very easy to see what's not on Thursday. You can make a Venn diagram if you really want to and do it that way too, with Thursday and Friday as your one. So we'll do that later, so we won't do it right now. But all right, question 2. All right, and again, if you got here a little late, test work page, change number 3 to number 4 because I don't want you to have to write all this out. This is actually fairly easy, but just no point in writing it all out. All right, the cardinality is how many elements are in each set, so you're figuring out if it's finite or infinite. So the set of even numbers 3, 5, 7, that is finite because there's only 3 numbers there, okay? So if you can count the numbers, it's finite. If it has that ... or it goes on forever, then it's infinite. So B is going to be infinite because it's the set of numbers counting by 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, okay, it goes on forever. You have an infinite amount of numbers there. The next one is finite as well because is an end, a beginning, and an end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 numbers there. So cardinality, you just count them. By the way, the last class, as I'm screenshotting this one real quick, we discovered, and this is a reason to celebrate, I suppose, that there is no shading on this test. I might talk about that in a minute, but cardinality means count.
No shade on this test.
Yes, they were very happy to hear that.
Yes. I'm happy to hear it too.
So I'll talk about that the next time I screenshot. All right, number 4. Number 4 has to do, it says show your work right here. These can be tricky. So there is something here that's tricky on this one. I guess I got to show my work on there, but I better screenshot it. It says Jane got a train ticket valid for 8 cities. Okay. So in statistics and in a lot of these things, they use N for the number of times or number of things. So N is 8 on this one because it's 8 cities. Sorry. Okay, she can choose to visit some or none of these cities. She doesn't have time to visit them all. Okay, that's key right there. She can visit some or none of these, and she doesn't have time to visit all of them. And how many different ways can Jane choose the cities to visit? The order doesn't matter. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to my sheet on this one because this is the one you got to show work on, number 4, is the formula for this is 2 to the n. And I think it's better just to go ahead and remember 2 to the n. There is another formula that I'll talk about in just a second. But 2 to the n, we said n was 8 because there are 8 cities. So we do 2 to the 8th, which is 256. Okay, so that's all the subsets that are possible. That's all the numbers of subsets that are possible. So I would start here, okay? But then you go back to the problem and you say, let's read that last sentence. She can choose to visit some or none of them. She doesn't have time to visit all of them. So there is one set that she cannot do. She cannot do the set of all of them, okay? So this is actually what they call a proper subset because well, let me write this real quick. So 256 minus 1 can't visit all. So my answer is actually 255. Okay. So the proper subset formula is actually 2n minus 1. But I would not start there with that because so the number of subsets, I would always start with this one and then just use context to find how many you need to subtract or whatever. Okay, so on ours, a proper subset, technically you could use this formula 2 to the n minus 1. A proper subset, a number of proper subset, a proper subset is all the subset except the original. So here where she can't visit all of them, that would be all the proper subsets, okay, because she said she can't visit all of them. So a proper subset is all the subsets except the original. I still believe that I would just remember this formula, okay? 2 to the n, hopefully that's not even hard to remember. That's the only thing you have to remember for this test, like formula-wise. So I probably won't write that on the board or anything, but 2 to the n, you'll need that for this problem. I would just start there and then read the problem in context, because on this one, it was the proper subset formula. It said she can't visit them all, but my last class, it said that dude was writing articles about these different topics, and he had to write at least one article. Like, he had to write it on something. So you could write it on all of them or some of them or the empty set, which is none of them. So that's kind of our choices when you do something like this. You have all, which is the original, like all 8. You have the sum, which is all the different combinations. Like you could do 2 cities or 3 cities or 4 cities or 4 cities in these 4 cities or those 4 cities, and you have none, okay? This is the empty set. If that kind of makes any sense at all, that's the way I think about it. All is 1, okay? This is always 1. and the empty set is always 1. This one, you got to figure out how many. So you have to read the problem to figure out where to go from there. So I would do 2 to the n, and then it may say you can't use all or you can't use the empty set. So it's probably always going to be 2n minus 1, but make sure you read the problem. All right, y'all get the benefit of being the second class, so I've seen these once, so I get the different iterations. Number 5 is on our sheet, PQRXYZ. It says for part A, write the complement and, I'm going to write this on the board real quick. What is it? PQRXYZ, and then A naught is PX and Y. PX and Y or QX and Y? P. Okay. All right, so on our sheet, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and do the problem. On our sheet, it says for part A, what is the complement set? Well, they give us the complement set. They give us the A naught. That is P, X, and Y. So the original set on this one is everything that's not in the complement. Okay, so this is what's not in A. So A would be everything besides that, right? It would be Q, R, and Z. And this is easier for y'all to do when you're on a computer and you have a paper and a screen right there in front of you because you got both things. I got to jump back and forth. So that's all I want to see on that one is that you understand what the difference is between the complement and the original. So for this one to actually do it, well, we already did that, right? The A naught has PXY in it, so that means A would have Q, R, and Z in it. Is that what I put on the test work page? Okay, just making sure. I got all my numbers there. And then B is just the opposite of that. This one gives me the set B is RXYZ. So what's not in B? One thing to note when you are doing these, what is this, P and Q? Is it just P and Q? One thing to check this real quick, you can say that everything is either in A or not in A, right? So if the universal has 7 different letters in it, so I can always count and make sure that there are 7. I didn't get 7. I missed one, didn't I? No, there's 6. I cannot count today. This is in the last class too. There are 6 letters in U, okay? There are 6 letters in the universal, right? So I should have 3 here and 3 here. I got 4 here and 2 here. So they both add up to be 6. That means I got them all, right? You're either in a set or you're not in a set. You don't really have another option besides that. So it is an easy check there to make sure you got them all. So you don't want to miss that. Again, you can review your test and I can give you partial credit on stuff. That's fine. What's next? We don't have to do, oh yeah, we do have to do, this one's on the work page too. Let's do this one first. We'll do the work page first again on this one because y'all can tell me the answer. In your own words, right? Tell how you tell the difference between the union and the intersection. So my union is this symbol, right? Give me some words that help you remember what the union is.
Union starts with a U.
Okay, union starts with a U, yes. But how do I actually do it? The word or is the math word that we always use with it. What have I said a bunch when I do union or? I say like bring together. Again, you don't have to write exactly what I write. I always say marriage because like that union is another word for like marriage. Bring together. You could say combines, anything like that. Whatever helps you remember. I'm just curious of what you do and make sure you know the difference there. The intersection is the upside down one. What words do we use for that? And anybody else? Share what they share. It's where they intersect, but we already kind of have intersection there. So somebody else in last class said where like the circles overlap, like that's fine. Any of those kind of words, you don't have to write all those words. I'm just giving you some options there. Just write what it means in your own words. Okay, so to go to actually do the problem, the union, I guess just tips and tricks. Union or share, combine. No, I'm sorry, I said share, didn't I? Union or bring together, marriage, combine, all those different ones. So you are putting those together. What is in A or D? So I do bracket A, G, H, C, D, F. Okay. So that would be all. I'd put them all together. Okay. The intersection, the and is what do they share? Those don't share anything. Oh, y'all got to tell me because I always confuse myself. I always have since I was a student. Do you put the empty set in the bracket? No, you do not on this one because it is not talking about subsets. When you're talking about subsets, I think you do. Y'all can tell me if I'm way off. But so it is just the empty set. They do not share anything. So they share nothing. All right. All right. The next one we all also have on the test work page. I think. So what I did on the test work page on this one was a kind of a way to help you do the problem. So we may 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do it this way. I did it backwards in another class, but let's do it this way. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and we had A and B, I think. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. No, C and D. C is 3, 4, 7. D is 1, 4, 7. Okay, so C and D. 4, 7 they shared. C was 3 and D was 4, right? So again, a lot easier for y'all when you have a piece of paper and the computer screen. They're separate, but me, C is 3, 4, 7 and D is 1, 4, 7. So let's double check this. C is 3, 4, 7 and D is 1, 4, 7, right? And then we got the extra ones, which would be 6 and 8 out here. Okay. So I told you to make this Venn diagram real quick. It's just 5, 6, 7 letters, so it shouldn't be hard to put in there. Yes. What? I don't think it had 2 in there. I know it's kind of confusing. I don't really know why the universal didn't put 2. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of confusing there, but I don't know why they didn't. Okay. I made you do this just to like do it real quick, but this is a way you can use to answer the problem, okay? So I'm going to kind of walk through this, but then I'll show you probably the way that I would do it. So C intersect D not. Okay, so if I go to my paper, and again, a lot easier for you because you can have it on 2 different screens. C intersect D would be 4 and 7, right? C intersect D would be 4 and 7. C intersect D would be right here. I'll shade for you, so even though there's not shading. C intersect D would be there, so it's everything that's not in the blue. So my answer should be 1, 3, 6, and 8, right? So you can use this Venn diagram. I try to not make you like double up on the test work page and doing your work. You can use that Venn diagram to help you. The other one is C naught union D, and I'm going to do this a different way in just a second. C naught union D, so it's or, right? Well, D is all this, and C naught is all this, okay? So if it's union, I bring it all together, so it should be 1, 4, 7, 6, 8. So you can use this Venn diagram to answer the questions if you would like. The way that I would probably do it, sometimes it's nice to see the picture. I mean, you have to draw the picture for me anyways, no matter what, right? Okay, the way that I would do it probably is I would say, okay, I would just start writing them. C intersect D, what do they share? They share a 4 and a 7. So the opposite of that, or the not, what's not in C union D, I did what's inside the parentheses, so now the not of that would be everything besides 4 and 7. 1, 3, 6, and 8. Okay. This is like kind of doing this problem without looking at the picture. So now C naught would be 1, 6, and 8. Right? Yes. So C naught union D, right? This means or. That meant and. So this or I'm bringing together, what I'm doing is bringing together this one and this one. So it should be everything in there, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So like that is the way that I would do this probably is I wouldn't draw the picture, but I would write out what the ones I need are. I need to know what C intersection D is to figure out what it's not in C intersection D. I need to figure out what C naught is, the C apostrophe, to figure out how to put C naught and D together. So write those out, take those step by step. That was number 7, right? All right, we don't have the work page again for a while. Number 8. This one, there are some rules. Was it this class or last class? I talked to somebody about those rules. You don't have to memorize these rules. You definitely can think through these rules, but I will write them out just right here for a second. If you have a set, okay, so if you have a set and it combines with nothing. If you have a set and it combines with nothing, it is just the set. It's the same set, right? If I can take myself and combine it with nothing, I'm just myself, right? So if I take my self and intersect with nothing, then I'm asking what I share with nothing, which is nothing. Myself is a bad example there. If I take a set and it intersects with nothing to see what it shares with nothing, it's nothing. Okay. And then the other one would be if I take a set and I combine with the universal, is going to be the universal. What's in the set or the universal? It's everything. If it's a set, the universal means everything, right? So what is in the set or everything? Well, everything. But what about the set intersect with everything? The set intersect with everything. What does A share with everything? It's going to share A. Okay. So I show you these rules, not expecting you to memorize them. You can kind of think through these. You do not have to know these rules at all. But I show you these rules to show you that you only have 3 answers on these problems. You have the original set, you have the empty set, or the union. Okay. It will be one of those 3 answers because that always works like that. So on this one, A naught, and my empty set. You are welcome to write out A naught if you want to. A naught would be RYZ. You don't have to. Because A naught, if I take what's not in A and see what it shares with nothing, well, it's going to be nothing. What does A naught share with nothing? Nothing. Okay. If I take A and combine it with everything, well, it's going to be everything. If I combine these 2 sets, if I do what's in the universal or the A, it's going to be everything. Okay. So your answer is always the original set, the empty set, or the universal. That makes sense. Oh, man. All right, next. The next 2 are reading Venn diagrams. So we got some trains, the green line, the blue line, and the purple line. Most of y'all don't have too much trouble with these. Select all the lanes that stop at Erie. Where's that? Okay, that's in the middle there. So it would be all 3 of them, right? Any number in the middle would account for all 3 of them. The green, purple, and blue stop there. How many stop along the green or blue or both? Green or blue or both. So green or blue or both. Any of those inside the green or blue or both would stop there, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which stations stop along any one of the 3 lines? Any one of the 3 lines would be everything inside the circles, wouldn't it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man, I gotta write those out. What is it? Everything besides Delft, and Latte? I'm sure I said all those words correctly. Okay. So anything inside there. So this is just reading the chart, filling it out correctly. Just be careful when they say not or both. Reading a 2. So this one has to do with reading the numbers out of a Venn diagram. So the cardinalities. So a pet store surveyed 337 people. How many of the people do not own a dog? So do not own a dog would be these people and these people. Do not forget to add the number on the outside. They will definitely throw at least one of those at you. So what is that? 192. How many of these people own a bird and a dog? How many of these people own both a bird and a dog? That'd just be 68, right? On both. How many of these people own a bird, a dog, or both? A bird, or dog, or both. So a bird, a dog, or both. You'd add up all three of those. 119. It's very nice of them that they just tell you the or both in parentheses. So what is that? 165. Nobody wants to do math this morning. 284. Okay. Do not forget, just to mention this, but the 337 up here, like you may possibly need that for something. I don't think you actually will, but that does tell you the total amount. Could help you solve something faster.
Oh, actually, I did it on the calculator and it's at 264.
Is that not what I put?
Yeah, 119 plus 68 plus 77.
Oh, I put 284?
Yeah.
Well, man, that means I'm going to have to redo that problem.
Sorry.
I can't add. It's 264.
Sorry.
Why did I do 28? 68. 264, you said? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Constructing a Venn diagram. So what you want to do on this one is you do want to start in the ones where they intersect, and then you may have to change it if there's any empty spaces, okay? So for X, B is in there. Oh, it's in both, isn't it? B is in both, so you always check to make sure it's in there. D is also in both. E is only in X. G is also in both. And then Z has an A. We got B, D. We need an F and a G. Okay, so this one has no blank. So what I mean by a blank is if there is a blank, y'all can't see my pencil when I do that. If there is a blank, like if there's nothing in just the X only, or if there's nothing in the intersection, or if there's nothing in only Z, if there's nothing in any three of those spots, then you have to change to one of those other pictures, okay? So if there's nothing in the, I'll say, maybe I can write that out. I put the C out there on the outside because it's not in any of the circles. I think I can think about this here real quick in my head. This one, you would do this one if there's nothing. Oops. You would do this one if there's nothing in the middle. You would do this one if there's nothing in, how do I say this? How would y'all say that part right there? I would say, any guesses there? I mean, it's only Z is what they call that. Like, it's only Z, if that makes sense.
Maybe nothing in X.
Well, this one is nothing in X. I was trying to figure out how you would say, how would you call, like, what would you call this part right here in your words? Try not to use math words here. To me, it's only X because those numbers are in only X. So if there's nothing in the only X area, you use that last one. So maybe that'll help to figure out which one there. And that definitely will happen on that. Y'all did this topic already, so you know that. But last class, we got nothing in only X, so we had to choose that last one there. Couple more. Number 12 is making cardinalities. So again, we do have to choose maybe the shape to change on us. But let's go through this. So it's always easier to me to start on the bottom. Own both a bird and a dog is 26. If you can ever figure out the middle number, that makes life so much easier. Because now when I go to own a bird, there are 80 people in a bird circle, but there's already 26 that we got in there. So I want to do 80 minus 26, and I get 54, okay? Same thing for dogs. There's 62 in the dog circle, but we already have 26 in there. So that is 36. And then to figure out the outside number, we can look at the top. There's 143 surveyed. We already have 36 and 26 and 54 inside the circles. So you have 27 outside the circles. A quick check, because you have a calculator, is to add up all your numbers real quick and make sure they equal 143. If they don't, you did something wrong. These questions, I believe, help you fill out the circles. So if you do get stuck filling out the circles, the Venn diagram, go to these questions. They may kind of help you think about it. How many people own a bird but not a dog? Okay, so that would be 54. That would be only birds. How many people own a dog or a bird or both? Man, I just had that number in the calculator too. Undo. I guess I didn't. Backspace. Where's my I don't. Oh, man, whatever. 36 plus 26 plus 54, right? The or would be everything inside the circles would be 116. You could also do 143 minus the 27. And again, there is no zeros here, so you keep this the same. But if you had a zero, if like one of these happened to be a zero, like if that was a zero, then you'd choose this one right here, okay? Or if this was a zero, there's no intersection, so you choose that one. So if there is a zero somewhere on there, that's just like the last one where you leave it blank. Real quick, I'm going to write this out. So to find this, you would do 80 minus 26. To find this one, you do 62 minus 26. And to do this one, you would do 133 minus 36 minus 26 minus 54. Just in case anybody goes back and looks at this. Come on. No, don't you do it. The other day, I updated a new iPad, and there's like different things. Like this little button used to not pop up all the time. So there's like new things happening. And in my class yesterday, I lectured over everything, and then it just didn't save. So I was pretty sad. What is that? Okay, 2 left. These 2 are both on the sheet, but we'll do the problems first and then go to the sheet. They're pretty similar in what they do. So number 13, actually this one we just have the number, so this one is just reading it again. So 690 people are at I need more than that. 690 people, they're different kind of pets. How many people own a bird? So own a bird would be 36 plus 23 plus 20, all of those. Somebody add those up for me so that I don't add wrong again. What's that? 212, 261.
Oh, the answer is 271.
271. Oh, yeah. Okay. Missed it. Yeah. Next one. How many of the people own neither a bird nor a fish? They don't own a bird or a fish. So that would be these dog people, right? And those people right there. I think I can add that one up correctly. 167. How many people own both a dog and a fish but don't own a bird? A dog and a fish but don't own a bird. So these people own a dog and a fish but don't own a bird, right? That should be the only one. So 159. So just be careful with your words there as you are doing that one. Oh, and we have something on our show your work. What's it say? What does the interior number represent? The number in the middle of all three circles, right? The most interior. Write the answer in the context of the problem. So our most interior number is 126. Okay? So our most interior number is 126. So we would say something along the lines of 126 people own all three types of pets. So I would be looking for something like that. You can say it in your own words. It doesn't have to be that, but like that, all three. Like that is what the middle number always tells you, is how many own all three. All right, and the last problem here, maybe, is one of these. So these are a pain. These are like those logic puzzles. We're trying to think of the name of the game. There's like a new game. I've seen it at like Barnes & Noble, and I think there's an app and all that, but it's play off of Wordle. It's like called Myrtle or something. It's called something like that. It's brown. I got to look up. I should have looked it up for this class. But these are like these logic tables that they have where they give you like 5 clues, and you can fill out the whole table and figure out who killed who with what and where and all those kind of things. So this is kind of like the real life scenario of the Venn diagrams, and I'm fine. I feel like I keep forgetting to answer your question. I'm going to answer it in just a second. But all right, what I like to do on these is try to start at the bottom. I don't know why. It just always seems easier. But the number one thing I'm looking for is the most interior number, what we just talked about. If I can find that one that says all three, then I can subtract all the way out and it makes it easier. So y'all got the easier problem than the other class. 121 of the people own all three types of pets. So I have the most middle number right there. Okay. I guess I can go back to the 79 real quick, though. 79 of the people don't own any of these. So that should be my number on the outside. For some reason, I just feel like it's easier to work on the bottom. I don't know why. All right. 197 own both a dog and a fish. Well, that's good, but we also know that 121 of those own a dog and a fish and a bird. So I need to subtract the 197. So a dog and a fish right here would be 76. Okay? So you got to subtract on these going out. A bird and a fish would be 248, but I already have a 121 in there. 248 would be 127. A bird and a fish would be right here. Okay, so 127. So y'all see that where I have the 121 in these two areas right here? That is where the people that own a bird and a fish, those have to add up to be 248. Just because they own a bird, a fish, and a dog doesn't mean they don't own a bird and a fish. Okay, so the next one is dog and a bird. So that would be these two. It's 158. So 158 minus 121 would be 37. And then we got to go up there. 353 people own a dog. Well, I'm only missing one number in the dog right there. So if I just subtract 76 and 121 and 37. Oh, my goodness. Minus 37. That means there's 119 here. So that all of the numbers that are in my dog circle, my red circle right there, will add up to be 353. Same thing for bird. There's 343 that own a bird. I already have a 37 in there. I already have a 121 in there. And I already have a 127 in there. So that is 58. So that all of everything in my blue bird circle right there adds up to be 343. Okay. And then the last thing, I am missing how many people own only a fish. So we know there's 680 total, right? So now I can just subtract all of those numbers everywhere else, which does take a second. Scared I'm going to forget one. Do not forget to do the 79, though, too. Those people don't own a fish. 63. So when you get done with this chart, the way you can always check it is add all those numbers up real quick, and it should equal the 680 people surveyed. Our question real quick right here, how many of the people own both a bird and a dog but don't own a fish? Own both a bird and a dog but don't own a fish. Bird and a dog don't own a fish would be this one right here. Wait, bird and a dog. A bird and a dog, but don't own a fish would just be those 37. It's a lot of animals there. All right, let me screenshot that. Actually, no, I'm gonna come back and screenshot that. Let's wait, what was our number there?
14.
Okay, so 14 says, what does the number on the outside of the circle represent? Right, your answer in context of the problem. So our number on the outside here is 79. So our context of that number would be 79 people do not own any of those 3 pets. I was going to write don't own any pets, but that's not really true. They could be those snake and spider people out there or something. So 79 people do not own any of these pets. Okay, so that's the number on the outside. Just put that in context when you are doing that.